Ladies and gentlemen, there will come a day when your strength fades. When your steps slow, when the mirror no longer reflects your youth but reveals something far deeper, your legacy. And on that day, you won't be thinking about how many likes you collected, how much money you made, or how loudly people once cheered your name. None of that will matter. What will matter is the lives you touched, the truths you stood for, and the mistakes you chose not to make. Tonight, I want to speak to you, not just as a warning but as a lifeline. There are 9 fatal mistakes that can quietly ruin your life in old age. Mistakes that steal your peace and fracture your soul. But I won't leave you there. I will also share 6 powerful keys to protect your heart, your future, and the legacy you are still building. There is a hunger in the human heart that no food can satisfy. No drink can quench. No wealth can silence. It's a hunger that surfaces in the stillness of the night. When the noise fades, the company leaves, and you're left alone with your thoughts. You can spend your entire life polishing your image, tending to your reputation, building your possessions, and still find yourself starving inside. That hunger, my friend, is the cry of your soul. If you ignore it, year after year, decade after decade, there will come a time when your body grows old and your strength fades, that this hunger will rise like a lion. A soul neglected does not go quietly, it becomes a weight you can no longer carry. I've seen powerful men tremble on their deathbeds, not because of physical pain, but because of an aching emptiness they can no longer ignore. They had everything this world offers, but nothing their soul needed. I've listened to elderly women, surrounded by comfort in the quiet of retirement, whisper through tears, "I thought there would be more than this." What they missed was not a bigger house, another promotion, or more applause. What they missed, what they longed for, was peace. A deep, steady, unshakable peace. But peace doesn't come from having everything go your way. Peace is born when your soul is anchored in something greater than yourself. The soul is not loud. It does not shout over the noise. It whispers. It speaks in quiet moments, in seasons of loss, in flashes of awe, but it never forces itself upon you. And if you drown it out with distraction, if you smother it with ambition, if you silence it with constant noise, it won't vanish. It will simply wait. And when you grow older, when the layers of life begin to fall away, the titles, the praise, the endless demands, that quiet voice will rise again. But some people, sadly, will realize they no longer know how to hear it. That is why I urge you, feed your soul now. Not tomorrow, not someday, today. Make room in your life for stillness. Create moments where your thoughts can breathe and your spirit can stretch. Open a book that challenges you to think beyond opinion. Spend a morning in nature without your phone in your hand. Have conversations that make you reflect, not just react. Or simply fall on your knees and pray, not because you have all the right words, but because your soul needs a place to rest. People often ask me, what do I do with the pain I've carried for years? And I tell them, bring it into the light. Don't let your soul rot in silence. Don't carry decades of shame, bitterness, or regret and still expect joy to grow. Healing begins when honesty begins, when you choose to bring your burdens to something higher, something holy, something eternal. You don't need religion to understand this. What you need is honesty. You need humility. You need time. It's heartbreaking how many people spend more energy planning their vacations than tending to their souls. They chase promotions, not peace. They polish their image while neglecting their integrity. They know every breaking news story but can't remember the last time they sat quietly and asked, "How is my soul?" What's the point of outward success if you're dying on the inside? The soul doesn't age like the body. It either grows deeper and richer, or it dries up and becomes brittle with regret. And here's the truth. No one else can nourish your soul for you. Not your spouse, not your pastor, not your therapist. It is your work. It is your choice. You must say, "My soul matters. My eternity matters. My peace matters." Because one day, when the lights go out, when the crowds are gone, and when you are standing at the edge of your life, only one question will remain. Did I lie from my soul? Or did I simply perform for the world? There is a hunger inside every human being, a hunger no applause, no title, no possession can satisfy. It's not a hunger of the body or the mind. It's the hunger of the soul. You can try to silence it with endless busyness, You can bury it beneath distractions. You can drown it in ambition. But eventually, when the noise fades, when the race slows, and when you're left alone with yourself, you will hear it again. The soul never forgets what it was made for. Too many people live their entire lives feeding their schedules but starving their souls. They work tirelessly, run relentlessly, chase endlessly, and yet, they lie awake at night asking, "Why do I still feel so empty?" That emptiness is not a failure of effort. It is a failure of nourishment. You were made for more than tasks and deadlines. You were made for depth, for stillness, for grace, but you must choose to protect that sacred part of you. You must make space for your soul to breathe. If you don't, you may one day arrive at old age with everything in place, your house, your money, your family photos, but still feel like something essential is missing. Not because something went wrong, but because you never cared for what was quietly crying out all along. Your soul doesn't need luxury. It needs truth. It needs honesty. It needs quiet moments where you ask, "Am I living the life I was meant to live?" And you actually listen for the answer. Not from the noise of the crowd, not from the glow of a screen, but from deep within, that part of you that existed long before you ever had a title and will remain long after the titles are gone. There's something else that quietly poisons the soul if you let it: bitterness, resentment, the slow, heavy burden of unforgiveness. There are people today living in beautiful homes but trapped in invisible prisons. They smile on the outside, but inside they are shackled by memories, bound by grudges, held hostage by what was done to them or by what they never let go of. You might think you're punishing the person who hurt you by holding on to the pain. But the truth is, you're punishing yourself. Every time you replay that memory, every time you guard that grudge like a shield, you tighten the chains around your own heart. Forgiveness does not say that what they did was right. It says you refuse to let it define you any longer. Some of the most heartbreaking words I've ever heard from the elderly are these: "I wish I had made peace." Sometimes, it's too late to make the call, too late to say the words, too late to repair what was broken. But it's never too late to forgive in your heart. It's never too late to set yourself free, to let grace pour into the dry places you've carried for decades. There is no healing in holding on to hate. There is no peace in pride. But there is untouchable strength in surrender. In saying, "I won't carry this anymore. I choose to forgive, not because they deserve it, but because I can't afford to let my soul die in silence." So I ask you, what are you feeding? What are you carrying? Are you nourishing what's eternal, or exhausting yourself on what will soon fade? Are you building a life of peace, or quietly collecting regrets? One day, you will sit alone with your memories. Let them be soft. Let them be full of light. Choose today what kind of soul you want to live with tomorrow, and tend to it gently, daily, faithfully. Your peace depends on it. Because there comes a point in every life where the crowd grows quiet, where the mirror speaks plainly, and the heart begins to ask questions no achievement can answer. What have I done with my days? What has my life really meant? How will you answer? We ended by asking the question, what have I truly done with my life? But perhaps the deeper question is this: what have I become? Not the version you show the world, not the polished image anyone can craft, but who you are deep inside, where truth cannot hide, where there is no filter, no applause, no mask. You see, we are not just bodies. We are not just minds, we are souls wrapped in skin. Spirits navigating a world that constantly urges us to chase everything but peace. The tragedy? Peace is the very thing we need most. The soul doesn't thrive on noise. It doesn't grow from money or applause. The soul flourishes in stillness, in truth, in quiet moments where you touch what is eternal. So many people spend years meticulously building a resume but never once build a relationship with their own soul. They chase degrees, climb corporate ladders, pursue relationships, yet never sit still long enough to ask the most important question: am I well on the inside? And by the time they finally pause, often in the later chapters of life, they find their soul starved, malnourished by decades of neglect. Don't wait until the ache of emptiness forces you to reflect. Don't wait for the cracks in your heart to scream for attention. Feed your soul now, not with entertainment, not with distraction, but with prayer, with quiet, with purpose. Feed it like your life depends on it, because it does. But nourishing your soul also means emptying it of the poisons you've allowed to linger. And nothing poisons faster, nothing seeps deeper, than unforgiveness. There are people walking through life, smiling on the outside while silently bleeding within. Not because of what happened to them, but because of the bitterness they've never released. They hold on to grudges like trophies, as if keeping score gives them power. But all they are really losing is time, peace, and joy. Forgiveness is not weakness. It's not saying the wound was small. Forgiveness is strength. It's saying, I refuse to let this wound rule me any longer. You might never hear the apology you deserve. You might never see justice fully served. But you can be free. Forgive while you still can, before the grave closes over words that were never spoken. Before your heart becomes too hard to feel again. Set yourself free, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. And as you feed your soul and free your heart, don't neglect the vessel that carries them both, your body. So many of us treat our bodies like enemies. We push them past their limits. We numb them with chemicals. We ignore their cries for rest, and then we are shocked when they break down. But your body is not your enemy. It is a sacred vessel. You only get one. And how you care for it is a reflection of how you honor your calling. Take care of it, not for vanity, but for stewardship. Rest when you're tired. Walk under the morning sun. Drink water like your life depends on it, because it does. Put down what destroys you. Pick up what heals you. Your habits will follow you into old age. Let them be habits that serve you, not ones you spend your final years regretting. Because when the end comes, and it will, you won't be asking for one more hour at the office. You won't be asking for more things to buy. You'll be asking for peace. You'll be hoping for rest. You'll be looking back at the way you treated your soul, your heart, and your body. And I pray, when that moment comes, you can confidently say, I fed what mattered. I forgave what tried to destroy me. I honored the life I was given. There's a version of success that looks impressive on paper but leaves a person hollow inside. There's a way of living that is loud, busy, and widely applauded, but deeply restless. And the world celebrates this kind of life. The world loves speed. The world loves image. The world loves noise. But beneath all that noise, if you dare to slow down, you'll hear a quieter call. The whisper of your soul asking, there must be more than this, right? And there is. But you'll never hear it if you keep chasing everything else. Your soul is not a machine. It cannot thrive on busyness, on scrolling, on applause. It needs quiet. It needs truth. It needs connection with something higher, something deeper, something eternal. You can fill your days with meetings. Fill your nights with entertainment. Stuff your calendar until there's no room to breathe, and still lie awake. Empty. That is not failure. That is a signal. That is your soul saying, I'm starving. And what your soul is truly craving cannot be downloaded. It cannot be bought. It must be cultivated in silence, in surrender, in stillness. But beware, your soul cannot grow in bitterness either. Unforgiveness is a slow, invisible toxin. It seeps into how you see people, how you see yourself, even how you see God. Some people carry wounds for decades, nursing them, defending them, allowing them to become the headline of their story. But hear this. The pain may not be your fault, but the prison is your choice. And the longer you stay in that prison, the colder it becomes. Forgiveness is not about letting someone off the hook. It's about setting yourself free. You don't have to pretend it didn't hurt. You don't have to become best friends again. But you must release the weight if you want to walk forward in peace. Life is too short. Eternity is too near. Don't waste your precious years dragging chains behind you. Forgive while your hands are still strong enough to heal. Forgive while time is still yours to spend. And as you tend to your soul and unburden your heart, don't forget the body that carries them. We live in a world that glamorizes indulgence and mocks discipline. But what you put into your body, what you deny it, what you ignore, it all matters. Your body is not a trash can. It is a gift. It is a sacred vessel. You don't need to become a fitness guru. You simply need to honor what you've been given. Walk more. Rest deeply. Say no to what numbs you. Say yes to what renews you. Because how you treat your body today will echo into every year that follows. Don't wait until your health fails to wish you had made better choices. Start now. Small, simple, faithful steps. But even if you feed your soul, forgive your wounds, and care for your body, there is still one more trap waiting: living for the approval of others. You can waste your whole life trying to impress, trying to be liked, trying to win the applause of a crowd that will forget you the moment you falter. When you live for people's praise, you will die by their silence. But there is one whose eyes see what others miss. His love cannot be bought. His approval does not shift with trends. When you live to please him, you live free. So take a moment right now. Step back from the noise. Step back from the rush. And ask yourself, am I feeding what truly matters? So, as we step back and ask, am I truly feeding what matters? There are more questions waiting quietly beneath the surface. Am I holding on to what I should have let go? Am I treating this life like the sacred gift it is? Am I living for truth or for applause? Life moves quickly, much faster than we realize. You wake up, and suddenly, years have slipped through your fingers. What once felt like forever now feels like a flash. And in that quiet space, between one season and the next, the questions start to rise. What have I really built? What truly mattered? Was I building a life that lasts, or just one that looked good for a while? So many people run hard, chasing success, admiration, security, but forget to tend to the very part of themselves that will live long after all those things fade away. The soul doesn't fight for your attention like bills, like emails, like deadlines. It doesn't send loud reminders. It waits, quietly. And if you don't feed your soul daily, if you don't carve out time for peace, for reflection, for truth, one day you'll look around and realize you've built a life that's full but not fulfilled. Feeding your soul doesn't require a mountaintop or a monastery. It requires space, silence, sincerity. It's the practice of turning off the noise long enough to hear what's happening inside of you. It's reading what is eternal, praying even when you don't know what to say, pausing not just to ask where you're going, but to remember why you're going. The soul cannot live on entertainment and ambition alone. It needs meaning, and meaning is only found when you make time for it. But even a well-fed soul can become weighed down by a heavy heart. There are people who carry silent pain for years, old betrayals, harsh words, broken trust, thinking if they bury it deep enough, it will disappear. But pain that's buried is not pain that's healed. And unforgiveness, no matter how justified it feels, becomes a poison that quietly spreads into every corner of life. You may think you're protecting yourself by holding onto the grudge, but what you're really doing is locking yourself in the room with it. Forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you can't afford the weight any longer. Do it now, while your hands are still strong enough to reach out, while your heart is still soft enough to be moved. Don't let the clock run out with bitter words left unsaid and peace never made. Life is too short to stay angry. Eternity is too long to carry hate. And as you free your heart and feed your soul, don't forget to care for the vessel that carries them both, your body. You only get one, and it was never meant to be punished, abused, or ignored. Yet so many of us treat our bodies like disposable tools, only paying attention when something breaks. We push them past their limits. We fill them with what numbs us. We neglect their need for rest. And then we wonder why they fail us later. You don't need to chase perfection, but you do need to offer care. Eat what brings life. Move because you can. Rest like your strength depends on it, because it truly does. The habits you build today will echo into the years to come. Let those echoes carry wisdom, not regret, and don't waste your life chasing the approval of the crowd. The world will cheer for you one moment and forget your name the next. If you live to be liked, you will spend your life performing, and you will never find peace. There is only one whose approval brings true rest, and he is not impressed by titles or applause. He sees the heart. He honors humility. He offers a love that does not shift with the changing tides of public opinion. When you live to please him, you live free. Because in the end, you must ask, what will hold you when the job ends? When the friends drift away? When the body grows weak? If your life is built on trends, on fame, on comfort, it will crumble. But if your life is anchored in what is eternal, in truth, in grace, in God, then no storm can shake you. So choose today. Feed what is eternal, release what is heavy, care for what you've been given, and live for what will never fade. That is the life worth growing old with. time has a way of humbling us. What once seemed distant suddenly arrives. The life we thought we had endless time to shape suddenly stands in front of us, complete. And in that stillness, often later in life, we begin to see clearly what truly mattered, and what never did. But oh, how many people reach that moment and wish they could go back. Not to relive their youth, but to make different choices. To choose differently with their hearts, their time, their souls. You cannot ignore your soul forever. It's the one part of you that speaks quietly but carries eternal weight. You can distract it, you can drown it, you can delay it, but its hunger will always resurface. No amount of money, praise, or success will satisfy the emptiness that only truth, only peace, only connection with the eternal can fill. That is why you must feed your soul daily, not just in times of crisis. Not only when you're broken, but every day. Like breath, like water. Read what lifts your spirit. Pray, not just to ask for help, but to realign your heart. Let stillness speak louder than the relentless noise of the world. A neglected soul may grow quiet, but it will never stop aching. Even a well-fed soul can still be trapped by the weight of unforgiveness. Old wounds, unspoken words, chains we refuse to release. Unforgiveness is a slow poison. It doesn't always show on the surface, but inside, it hardens the heart. It suffocates peace. Many people carry anger into old age, not realizing that the very thing they refuse to forgive is the thing holding them captive. Forgiveness doesn't mean what happened was right. It means you refuse to carry it any longer. Do it now. Speak while your voice still works. Release while your heart can still be moved. Don't wait until the grave silences what should have been said. Set your soul free while you still can. And don't forget your body, the vessel that carries you through this life. We are not just souls, we are embodied souls. Yet how often do we treat our bodies like they don't matter? We stuff them with what dulls us. We exhaust them in the name of progress. We ignore their cries for rest until something finally breaks. Your body is a gift. You don't need to worship it, but you should respect it. Eat to fuel, not just to fill. Move, not just when pain forces you to. Rest, not out of laziness, but out of wisdom. The choices you make today will become the life you live tomorrow. And through it all, be careful not to live for the crowd. The world will cheer when you fit in, and abandon you when you don't. If you spend your life chasing people's approval, you will never know peace. But when you live to please God, not religion, not performance, but a real, honest walk with the one who sees the heart, you will live free. His approval does not shift with trends. He does not forget you. And he never asks you to pretend. When you live for him, the noise of this world fades into the background. Build your life on what cannot be taken from you. Because one day, everything you can see will fade, your career, your possessions, even your body will grow weak. But your soul will go on. Anchor your days in what is eternal: love, truth, mercy, grace. These are the things that will follow you beyond the grave. And while you prepare for that eternity, don't miss the beauty of now. Don't be so focused on the next life that you miss this moment. Hold a hand, speak a kind word, watch the sunrise, laugh deeply. Today is sacred, because it's the only time you can truly live in. Be fully present, even while your heart is set on home. My friend, no matter your age, it is not too late. Yes, the clock is ticking, but the author of time still holds the pen. Choose wisely today, and you will reap joy tomorrow. May your old age not be a desert of regret, but a harvest of grace, peace, and purpose. Thank you, and may God guide your steps from this day forward.